right? So now we had this big move pushing the upper end of a range higher, right? Into erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, turning into like a mixed sideways decline in the last hour. We've got about 45 minutes left. There is a high correlation here at the end of the day. It doesn't I don't think it's going to be like a high for the day based on the theme card being the strife, but it should stand out as like a peak. Right? We revisited a crest that was an opportunity here between 2 and 3, right? And then we've got the death card. So hopefully people utilize the opportunity here to open up a short. If they didn't open up a short there, hopefully they'll do so at the close, like a good opportunity at the close. You can see how the 7th at the end of the day would have been a good place to open up a short, even though we went higher first. Right? I was like, I don't know, because we go higher in the morning, which we did. Even so, this was still accurate to open up a short because now we're like well below that price level. So hopefully some people did that as well. The exit for the short would be here probably around 10 o'clock. And that's going to be one tricky day, guys. We have the success card here, excuse me, the pleasure card here on the 11th. We see it here today at the end of the day. As far as the sequence of events, we're kind of already at the high, right? This high signification has to do with the pleasure card. The pleasure card on the 1 day reading takes place here on the 8th rather than on the 11th. So that's saying something, guys. Like, definitely want to be at least in a partial short here. And then you could close the short at the end, first thing in the morning, or not first thing, like around 10 o'clock, in the midst of a first thing in the morning decline. Around 10 o'clock, you could close the short there. If you wanted to do a day trade, open up a long around the same time and close that long midday in the midst of a notable, like a fast, sudden move higher on a 1 day chart. Probably into like noontime, maybe. Actually, into the 11 to 12 o'clock hour, probably closer to 11 than to 12. Or you could just hold the short, ride this move to the upside, add to the short here around the 11 to 12 o'clock hour, closer to 11, and close at the end of the day. Hmm. No, I mean you could even ride the short. You could ride the short into the 13th. But I mean, it's always more advised to take profits on a short as soon as you have them, rather than to like, oh well, there might be more later. Like you can always reposition yourself for that might be. Take profits while you can with the short, especially with the short. Where is... This is going to be one hell of an entry into a retrograde, guys. We've got a lunar eclipse as we're intensifying, in the influence of retrograde is intensifying. And then we've got a solar eclipse in the middle of retrograde. It kind of in the part where like retrograde kind of like the effects of it seem to like dissipate right around the middle time, but having a solar eclipse right smack in the middle might disrupt that kind of like eye in the middle of the storm. Oh, you got it, Robert. It was a good idea. Hey, it was luck. What's interesting is that, we've got the futility card here, but I wasn't able to find any correlations really in the timeline to the futility card. And guys, look at this yellow line. This is the science price level that we marked off so long ago. Look how important this price level became. Look at that. Look at this. We were trying to break through it. We're hanging out around it, support for a little bit, trying to break through again, right? Try to break through there. It's a pretty important price level, and we marked it off all the way back. $229. It is that one. These got moved. It's really aggravating how they were moved. But in any case, you can see pretty important price level. And we also said yesterday in the live, if you guys remember, we pointed out that this price level right here is probably what we would return to. Either here or here. So pretty much nailed that price level info. It's actually sunny for once in New York City. So I would expect us to at least hit this price level of 510 in the morning, at least. But there's another unicursal down here. There's another one all the way down here. What's interesting about this one is that, well, technically it was marked off right before this sharp drop, so this unicursal may have been fulfilled. It doesn't mean wouldn't be fulfilled again, but it's already been fulfilled in a way with this huge move right here. As well as that one, really. What's interesting is that we don't have an exit trade advised here at the end of the day, guys. We don't have an exit or an entry. So logically, that would one might presume that that means we don't actually see like a better price level than we did at the right around the open. But that's where the entry was, right? And then exit is here. It's not here. There's no like extra entry here either, so it's probably to the downside, but with more to go on the following day. But overall, the Queen of Cups and the Change card are very like back and forth kind of fluctuation cards. USO vertical move potentially start on Tuesday. Yeah, so see, this is like resistance that we failed to break through many times before. One, two, three, four. In the early part of March. Oh, I was looking at it from a daily, I mean, from a 1 day. Silly me. All right, so early part of March, there's resistance that we failed to break through many times before. It looks like it's probably around here or here. Probably around, actually, probably right here, based on these. Right, and then there's decline, but out of the decline, there's this big move that takes us into a high. That it's a fast sudden move higher that ends the decline. So technically, we're in decline now. At some point, there should be this big move out of it. Yeah, I see a high next week. It looks like it would be at the end of the week. Interesting. A lot of decline early part of the week. I'm going to do that one over. Give me a sec. I'm not quite comfortable here. Okay, that's better. Let's do that one over. Yeah, it was pretty much the same. But I don't think it's on Tuesday. No, I don't think it's on Tuesday. There's a move on Wednesday that's pretty big, but it's out of a decline. It looks really wild next week for USO too, to be quite frank. Looking at it from a day-to-day basis, it looks really wild. But we when we see decline like ending with a fast sudden move higher, we should expect a high at the end of that fast sudden move higher. I can't see Hermes. Thank you. Hey, buddy, how is Jupe looking for the weekend? Oh wait, we want crypto, right? Okay, so out of a decline tomorrow, there's a big move from the bottom of a range to the top of a range. That move continues higher into Sunday, but at some point on Sunday there's a bit of a turnaround, like back to the downside. However, like on the cusp of Sunday, Monday, we have like a sideways fluctuating rally, so it might be kind of like a, how do I do it? Like kind of rally into Monday. Sunday marks an opportunity to open up a short or close a long. Why honk your car horn in NYC? When you honk your car horn in Manhattan, like you're like waving a flag. Hey, I'm unconscious. You know. You got in a bit early in USO. When did you get in? It was like I mean, the place to get in for the highs all the way back here at this low on the cusp of January, February. There's really no trade advisement to enter into a long here in the early part of March, which is probably part of why you're finding yourself in some hot water. And there's no trade advisement there, probably because of just that. It's a tricky kind of place to try and enter in before this move to the upside. You got it on Tuesday? Uh, we'll probably come back down to around here. 70, 7160-ish, probably. Because I'm basing that on so in early February we had this big move out of a trough, a significant low and trough. We had this big move into like a crest mid-month, and then we had a little bit of a pullback, and then we had this another big move, prominent move to the upside, taking us to a peak on the cusp of February, March. But the thing is that prominent move on the cusp, like late March Carter's prominent move higher, full retracement. We didn't see the retracement. The retracement is actually taking place now, right? We're going to see like I mean, technically this could be the bottom. You get a prominent move higher, full retracement. But my sense is that this is probably it. Prominent move higher, full retracement. And then you're likely to have this big move. And then another thing to keep in mind. So let's say we miss that big move, or something doesn't work out as planned. We're gonna come back to roughly the price level of this peak around the very end of the month of March. We should go higher, and then kind of like a sideways rotation with a slight downward trend into another peak here. That's about the same price level as the one that took place on the cusp of February, March. Hopefully that helps out. Is the coin top in? Where's my water? I'm like so dehydrated today. The Coinbase 2024 reading was created on, what is that, September 24th, 2023 at 10:02 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, very likely. And there could be a really big drop here, guys. I don't know how I didn't see this before, but there's probably a really, really big drop here off of the high. Like a really sharp, big drop. And this was questionable. I was like, I might be getting thrown off by this high here. It could be associated only with the moon card. But here's the thing, guys. It's almost never an either or. When you're like, which one is it with psychic information? It's like the reason why you're getting both is because they're combined, not because you're right or wrong, which is how most people think, right or wrong. It's either or, not and. With psychic information, that's more of an and. So there's a drop associated, this moon card is associated with this peak as well. But I think there's probably a really big drop here. Remember, we were advised not to chase the rally into this peak. It's probably in. The high is probably in. If it's not in, it would be next week, but I would be surprised. Yeah, the high is in, my friends. This is it. I got the star card. And hey, AV. Yeah, there's a coin short here, guys. There is a trade there. There's actually a really significant trade here. One of the juiciest trades in 2024, and I probably left it out of the 1 year because for whatever reason I didn't read it that way until like right now. It's so clear to me. Like, this is a big trade. Yeah. Wow. Like, if you were to get like an at the money or an in the money put option at these levels, coin options are expensive, but you'd probably be a really happy camper next week, very, very soon, like into next week. There's the return back to a high in April. However, like we rally in the end out of lows. We rally like kind of volatile, but still to the upside. So this is where I'm at right now. And guys, if you're into options, I highly recommend Tasty Trade. I find them to be the best. I've used a lot of different options things, Interactive Brokers, E-Trade, a few different ones, Webull, Robinhood. I mean, I've been through them. I really, for options especially, I mean, I think they're great for everything, but options especially really, really solid. If you're looking to open up a new like options account, look out for a affiliate link in our resources tab, which I don't think is there at the moment, but it will be shortly. Nope, not there yet, but it will be. And we'll also have a bunch of QR. We'll probably have one more of these, but it'll, if you click on it, it'll open up a page with a bunch of QR codes to donate different types of crypto. That's going to be added in probably by the end of next week. And you see how I mean, like, there's a cross-reading congruency for a March high card of 2024. So the March reading, oh, and the 2024 reading right here, the Queen of Cups is the high card for March, and it appears here. So it's a cross-reading congruency, but that's the thing about cross-reading congruencies. They don't always line up like right on top of like the smaller increment of time that they're talking about. What they will do is appear in the same reading. Like, this is indicating there's a high somewhere in this reading, not necessarily that it's here. Sometimes it's right on point, but it's much more reliable to understand that a cross-reading congruency is telling you there's a high, you know, that high is probably somewhere within this reading. A seasoned SO Meta reader would have interpreted this trade here and no trade at end of day to indicate that the high is probably here early in the day. I mentioned a significant high for gold in April. Will there be a good dip in March? Oh, not that. Whoa, 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 guys! Like, I put this here. Remember, like, if we're talking about a sharp drop, like that's the kind of drop that I see in coin. Something like that. Yeah, yeah. You want to cash out at the highs in March, and there's a significant trough here in like the second, like mid March, early part of mid March, maybe again later part of mid March, kind of like sidewaysy, and then a peak on the cusp and a higher peak in April. But yeah, this looks like, and you've got the devil card here, which from a trend standpoint, it doesn't always indicate to the downside, like because sometimes the fake outs to the upside, it always indicates some sort of intentional fake out. But if you were to like to pull the devil card alone, trying to find like overall direction, the devil card would be indicating to the downside in a case like that. So it could be that there's this big fake out. Now remember, the early part of March, a big move higher, full retracement. That's the love card. Through key resistance, that's this resistance right here. We stay above it briefly, or you could say it was this too. But this is really more like it. It's really more like this. Right? Big move higher through key resistance. It's not this one. I'm going to get rid of that. But there should be a full retracement, and that would make sense. And then from that full retracement, we would move into the devil card. And off of the low, there's a sideways fluctuating rally that precedes a decline. Interesting. Be very careful and I would take profits in gold there. If you haven't, probably take profits. Do we see another high on weekend in Bitcoin? Hey, Hamza. Oh, wait, I've got Bitcoin open. Silly me. I thought I had a chart there. Sorry, guys. This is really annoying that this window keeps opening. It's so fucking annoying. There we go. Yeah, we have sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bears, inflow and outflow. Yeah, so we probably have a higher price level tomorrow, or the same price level, but I think it's probably slightly higher tomorrow. But there's also a significant trough in there, so there should be a lot of volatility. We should be bound by some sort of range on a multi-day scale there on the ninth. Trough in the morning between the ninth and the 10th, in the morning on the 10th, kind of. That marks a cash out opportunity of some kind. So I would say, being that it's to the downside, it's probably a good cash out for a short position. So we've got wild stuff going on near the highs. Pretty sharp drop there around the 11th, probably off of the 10th into the 11th. I would probably be like, over the next few days, like transitioning from a long to a short position, like a bit at a bit at a time, like over that period, the next few days. That's what it looks like. But the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Swords could be indicating a really big decline there too. It might. I mean, it's not always volatility when you see the swords. It could also be just like a big move in one direction. Usually, it's back and forth around the resistance, though. Usually. Would the coin low align with the Bitcoin low? I mean, they're following a very similar pattern. Coin seems to have more like bullish sentiment overall to it. Well, it did here, anyways. Yeah, they do. They look like they follow very similar patterns. The low for coin seems to be like a little bit earlier, maybe like half a week earlier, half a week to a week earlier than the low for Bitcoin. Maybe even 2 weeks actually. Come to looking at it. How does it might be safer to buy BITI short Bitcoin ETF than to go short coin? How does BITI look in the next 2 weeks? That is probably a safer. I agree with you. That's probably a safer bet. But I mean, the decline that I see in coin, if I'm right, that's a lucrative trade, guys. That's a really lucrative trade. It's like a decline like we might expect happening in the gold chart. Something like that. BITI. And ProShares is a good ETF brand, if you will. How does BITI look over the next 2 weeks? the thing is you want to be careful with these short ETFs because the vehicle is designed to lose money over time, to depreciate in value over time. That's how it's designed, to automatically do that. So there has to be enough momentum in the opposite direction to get a move. And overall, you don't want to stay in something like that. See this? You don't want to stay in something like that. Like you stay in it overnight because you think the next day it's going to pop, boom, and then you get out. You don't stay in it longer. Look what happens the very next day, right? See this pop? Look what happens after it. This is a pretty solid pop, but look what happens right after it. All right? This is a really solid move for BITI. You see that? Almost always, except for maybe this situation right here. And even that, the very next day we're down. Big move higher. A few days later we're down. So be careful, guys. Next 2 weeks. So I see kind of flat behavior for BITI next week. Maybe it might not be flat. It might be that we keep coming up against the resistance, but it seems like it's probably flat. And then there's a ton of volatility the following week. Let me try that again. That's a tough card to read in that situation. Okay, so we're going to shoot up next week. BITI shoots up and creates a resistance where we kind of like flatten out for a bit. And then that's followed by probably a high next week, which was the Ace of Swords and a lot of volatility back and forth around that. Wednesday might be a good day to close a long position in BITI. It's possible. Oh, okay, guys. So I've got that coupon code. Everybody that's been waiting for that. It's actually not a coupon code. It's a special link. This is what we've got running. 2 one-year reports, normally $4.99 each. We're running a sale. 600 gets you 2. So that makes them like you're getting $200 off each reading. Like it's almost 50% off each reading, guys. Almost. You pick the year for the first reading. You pick the year for the second reading. The ticker or crypto for the first reading. Ticker or crypto for the second reading. Please, if it's a crypto, specify crypto to make it easy. Add to cart and purchase. Great way to help us out supporting the channel. And also a good way to give people who can't afford the normal price an opportunity to get a reading as well. Do I see an all-time high in Ethereum by next week? One sec, guys. So on Monday, when I close a short here, provided I'm right, close a short here around 10 o'clock. If you wanted to do a bullish day trade, you could open up a long position around that time. If we're at like a lowest low around that time, right? And then you could close it like in the midst of that fast sudden move higher, rallying into like 11 o'clock before a big move back to a low. Kind of a tricky trade, so be careful. But you want to get back into a short position here to close for another day trade at the end of the day. You could also very likely open up along here and hold it overnight. It might be tricky to hold throughout the day. You might like you get queasy or something, but you could probably hold it overnight and close it's either first thing in the morning. Yeah, it's probably first thing in the morning because this is actually trade correlations. They correlate to the Princess of Disc cash out opportunity. So there's a lot of different trades you could do on Monday based on all of the price swinging. So do I see an all-time high in Ethereum by next week? And I'm gonna cap the questions off here. So definitely blew past this. Yikes! Definitely blew past this on Ethereum. All right, so let's take a look and see what's going on. And it's important that people see this. I'm not right all the time. It can be really easy to like expect me to always be right and then do something really dumb. Don't be that foolish, guys. Really. Odds are you'll make money using this information. As long as you don't bet the house, you should do all right. See, like right here, I was expecting something over here. Didn't pan out. So what I said, though, was that if you open up a short, I'm wrong about closing it here, then there's a very likely opportunity to close it around the 10th. Yeah, on the 10th is a good day to close it. If it since it didn't work out here, I would say closing a short would be a good place to do that. Do I see an all-time high in Ethereum? I mean, probably not. No. We're definitely topping off. I could get rid of this now. We correctly predicted that. We can get rid of it now. Let me look at it from a 1 year chart standpoint. Oh, and that special link, guys, it's tarotfortraders.com/product-page/special. Oh, it doesn't let you make that bigger. Oops. That's it right there, guys. That's the special offer. 2 for 600. I'll show it again in just a sec. Yeah, no, it's not an all-time high here. But we might see one. Let me look at it from a multi-year standpoint. So I have Ethereum equals 4,800 in 2024, probably towards the end of the year. Let me see. But I don't know. Is that an all-time high? I think that's probably right. Let me see, or maybe not. Yeah, that would be an all-time high. So some point, I think it's probably some point in April. But you know, it's probably in April. It's probably in April, May, with a sharp drop off of it, like a really sharp drop off of it. It may be that it's in April and May actually. Yeah. So SPY reading says high on Monday, Tuesday. Um, yeah, exactly that, guys. We're gonna revisit. Well, we might have revisited the crest today because the cross reading congruency was here. But I think we probably see like a high in the midst of like a sharp drop. It's either a sharp drop over the weekend or it's a sharp drop on the 11th. And then we see a high and then there's another sharp drop. We might see another high. There's another sharper, like a sharper drop. Like it's really wild. Like it gets really, really wild as we get into the 14th, 15th. Like this is just a cluster F, if you ask me. Really, really crazy hard to read all of this stuff in one spot like that. It's just like, whoo, a lot of stuff. It's probably 513 ish. It's probably 513 ish. That's probably, it could be here. Actually, it could be right here. We could be at the resistance. What I'm talking about is that this disappointment card, a failed attempt to break through resistance that it looks like we're going to break through, right? So we've got kind of like this bullish trend going here, right? And it could look like we're going to break through this resistance. It's probably this resistance here, 513. Sorry. Sorry. Let me say that over because I'm looking at the wrong chart. So let me reevaluate. Ugh, long week. No, so that could be the failed attempt right there. And it would look like we were going to go higher technically. Right, we established support. Looks like we're going to break through. Instead, we turn around and we decline through key support. In a case like that, we would be coming back down. I think in this major decline, we're probably going to come back down to like the 503, 501. Yeah, 503, 501-ish at least. But we're also going to see like highs like entwined with that. But I advise being partially in a short position at this point because of the wild behavior that's going out. Sometimes that indicates like wild swings, like with like a sharp decline, so that wild swing doesn't come all the way back to a high, but it really stands out anyways because it was such a big move back to the upside. So that could be what's happening next week. That's why I advise to be in a partial short. And if you have an opportunity to sell for a big profit, take it. If you have an opportunity to add to the short, take it. And then if you have an opportunity to take a bigger profit, take that. Like that's the thing about a short. Take the profit fast. Don't sit on it. Take the profit fast. If there's more short downside to go, reposition yourself. Like look for a good opportunity to enter in again, but don't miss out on those profits. How does Tia coin look for the weekend? I'm gonna cap it off here, guys, and I'll show the special link one more time. Not looking good. I got Claire kinetically. I got the tower card. Yeah. You probably have a pretty good opportunity to open up a short tomorrow. Now, if we have a big decline tomorrow before you open up a short, I would say that you missed the opportunity. But if there's a move higher at some point, I would take that opportunity before this sharp drop on Sunday. That was confirmed kinetically. All right, guys. So that special offer. This is the URL for the special offer. This page, the only way you can get to this page is with the direct URL that you only get on the live, guys. Or if you're in the Angel Investor Discord channel, they get everything. It's posted. It's been posted there, but this is it. You can't navigate to this page through the website. You can only get to it by going directly to this page. And what it gets you is the 2 1-year reports. Normally, this would cost $1,000, $400 off, $600 for 2 reports. And then just a real recap. So advisement would have been to get into a long somewhere here early in the day, possibly add to that long here around this pleasure corridor at the end of the day. I opened up a partial short here. Look, if there's a big drop over the weekend, if I'm wrong about opening higher and there's a big drop over the weekend, I would close it as soon as we open. If I'm right, we open higher, there should be a pretty big decline first thing in the morning into like a significant low at the open or around 10 o'clock. And then there's quite a few different trades that you can make throughout the day trades and bullish and bearish swing trades, depending on the time of day that you enter in. I would just look for all that. I went through it. It's in the live stream, so you just got to scroll back, basically. And with that said, guys, I'm going to roll. Be prepared for that big, wild ride next week. And thanks to everybody for watching. And you know what to do. You know where to go. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great